All right, good morning, Hexico. Terribly sorry about the lighting here. I wish there was something I could do to improve it, but there's just nothing I can do to improve it with it being the morning. Actually, let me open this door here. Do anything for us? Only makes it a little bit brighter here. Or, ooh, that's way too bright. It's over this way. Okay, that's much better. So, the reason for today's little surprise stream is I'm taking a victory lap because guess what? I was right. Everybody should have been listening to me from the very beginning. And it turns out a lot of y'all did listen to me because what did I say during the last stream? What did I say to do? I said, hey, how about on a day when the rest of the market is red? How about we plow all of our money and make large purchases into Hex and and into PulseX and Ink, and let's really push those things up and create our own God candles. And look what happened today. How about we head on over to CoinMarketCap and take a look here at what is going on today. It looks nasty business. Yeah, Bitcoin down, Ethereum down, XRP down, Solana, the darling that everybody thinks is just so incredibly great all the time and never shuts up about. They're down too. And it's not just because of that whole dump.fun thing being suspended from X. I'd say I'll be so glad when that crap goes away here because you know, I don't cheer for people to lose money, but God, I hate meme coins with all my heart. I wish they would all just die and go away, but I don't really want to cheer people losing money or anything because I'm not a douchebag like the idiots over at Bankless. But man, I'll be glad when that crap is over. What I'm trying to show you here, though, is that everything is down all across the board, except here. Well, looky here. What do we got going on? I see PulseX. I see Hex on both chains, and also PulseChain experiencing very nice green candles today. Isn't that something? Let's take a look over here. What else we got going on here over at GoPulse? Oh, it shows that, woo, looky here. We're almost in the double digits on everything, especially Ink token. Tell you, that incentive token is probably the most undervalued asset in all of crypto. You guys got no idea just how hard that thing can pump here. Like some people are saying that thing's going to go all the way up to $1,000 this cycle. I mean, I'm not one to make price predictions or anything, but here's what I am to do here is I say never say never. Never say never. So why is this happening? Because on the stream back on Sunday, you remember what I said to do? I said, hey, why don't we buy our DCAs on a day when the rest of the market is red so that we're the only thing in the market that's green? We're the only thing that can be talked about positively on that day. You see, all the other imbeciles in the crypto market and all these other imbecile coins here are going, oh, Iran, Israel, there's going to be World War III. Because, like, they're reading something in the white paper that was never there. See, they all look at the white paper and go, yeah, I think that somewhere here it says that if World War III breaks out, we're supposed to sell our coins. That's what these idiots are actually thinking when they're selling their coins here and causing all this red. So I say, well, let's just idiocy of others to our advantage and let's buy our coins on the day when everybody else is selling their coins. So we're the only thing that is getting positive coverage. And it looks like you all listen to me because that's exactly what's going on right now. So I'm very proud of you guys. And I just want to say this here. Y'all remember this little line from Star Wars, right? That's right, guys. From now on, you do as I tell you. From now on, you follow my lead. When I say to do something, you guys do it. I am your mommy now. I am your princess now. I am your leader now. I am the general of the Hex Rebellion. you'd all do exactly as I say. You see, this right here, I caused this because of what I told you guys to do on the last stream. You all listened. So you have me to thank. You're welcome. From now on, you do as I tell you. No. Just kidding. But it is interesting, like how it all seems to have worked out exactly how I said it would. I mean, anybody else strike you as odd here? Anything else here stand out to you? I mean, there can't be much other explanation for this pump other than you guys are buying, doing like revenge buying or revenge trading, just like we did back when the Interpol notice first came out and the price was being pushed down and people bought it right back up. You see, this is exactly what to show the world. This is the best form of marketing, and this is also the biggest middle finger that you can fling at our enemies, at our haters, because this green candle on ink, on hex, and everything, it's not just a green candle. Let's have a look here at this. I pull it up. Why the internet is so bloody slow today, but as it's loading up right here, what I want to say is that when we have these green candles, they serve as not just a massive indicator of how good is the stuff that we hold. This green candle right here is a giant middle finger to complete imbeciles like Eric Wall, to haters like the Bankless Boys. This is a green candle that serves as a strap-on that we shove straight up their ass, and they just have to bend over and take it. You want to get revenge on the haters? This is what you do. When everything else is crashing and bleeding and burning, you cram your DCA into our assets here. You shut the FUD up, and you FUD them right up the butt with these green candles. That's how it's done here, guys. So, you want to know what I'm doing here? I'm going to buy a little bit more today here, but here's what I got: a daily DCA going into Coinbase. Sometimes it's $10 a day. Sometimes I change it to $50 a day. Sometimes I change it to $100 a day when my business is going really good and paying me a lot. So I have a daily DCA. I just let it accumulate, buying lots of USDC. USDC is bought every single day. Then on a day when the entire market is red, I take those assets off of Coinbase and I bridge them over to PulseChain, and I go on a buying craze. I go crazy with it. I'm on a absolute shopping spree, buying up as many of those coins as I can. Because right now, guys, we're still getting asymmetric prices here, asymmetric purchases. If you don't remember what that means here, I mean, it's quite simple. Like if I want to buy some hex here, since it is less than $1, it's less than 1 cent. Me putting $1 into it is going to get me more than one coin. I mean, it's going to get me more than 100 coins here. Almost 200 coins is what I'm going to get when I buy hex at this price. That's an asymmetric purchase. When you get these asymmetric purchases in, and then eventually you have the returns come in, those are going to be asymmetric returns. That is going to be wealth that changes your life. Now is the time to do it, you guys. So get your asymmetric purchases in, because these prices, we're going to look back at these prices and be like, man, I wish I had bought more of them. Now, how do I know that a bull market is still coming? Because a lot of people think that the bull market has already happened. It's already over. I say it never began, never even got started. And the reason why is because of this. I keep saying it a gazillion times. Every single stream, I keep saying this, and I guess it still hasn't stuck yet with people. I don't know how many times I got to bring this up here, but guys, look at the 10-year treasury. Do you see that rate? Do you really think for a second that anybody is going to be investing at all? Anybody's going to be investing at all in risk-on assets when you can make 4.4% on a guaranteed investment that is believed to be 100% safe? That's what's happening with these treasuries here. I mean, the treasuries, they're believed that they're 100% safe because there's no default risk, because the government can always print money to pay their debts. So as long as these treasuries are over 4%, we're not going to have the bull run yet. But when they come down, that's when the bull run will begin. I showed this at Max's conference, that There is a 100% inverse correlation between the crypto market and the 10-year treasury yield. When one goes up, the other goes down, and vice versa. So nothing has started yet, but it is exciting to see what we can create even with this downforce pressure that we're experiencing from the 10-year treasury. And something else I want to talk about, since Fed Day is tomorrow, and we know that the Fed's probably not very unlikely that they're going to cut here. We want to just take a quick look here at the history of some of these rate cuts and everything, because I heard Lark Davis say something very interesting. He's the one I listen to every day here. I mean, I know he's not a fan of Hex and PulseChain, but I don't think he's ever said anything bad about us. But he seems to be like one of the mainstream streamers that doesn't have his head completely up his butt. So I listened to him because I know I'm listening to those crooks over at Discover Crypto. He said something interesting, though. He said that we don't really need the interest rates to come down because, you see, right here, we had a very big bull market in the stock market from 1995 to 1998. I mean, really, it lasted all the way up to the year 2000 because that was the dot-com bubble. And during that time, the federal funds rate was 5.5%, which is higher than where it's at now. A couple of things I want to say about that. I mean, basically, what it sounds like he's saying is that the interest rates don't matter. That ain't correct, guys, because one thing you got to remember here is that this is the stock market we were talking about. Crypto is not the stock market. We are our own thing. But two, there were rate cuts. See over here, this thing was at 6%, and the Fed started flirting with cuts. Like, hey, maybe we should, we raised it enough here. Let's come back down. And then it was flat for a couple of years here, from about 1996 to 98. We had 2 years of flat interest rate policy at 5.5% roughly. And then they cut again. And that was where the bubble really kicked off. When they went down from 5% to 4.8%, that really kicked off the dot-com bubble. Then as they started raising, they were like, oh man, this market's a little too hot right here. They started raising those interest rates. Also, there's an election year going on. And they were thinking the market was probably way too hot and everything. Like, we got to raise these rates here a little bit. And then at this point right here, October 2000, the election, there's like, maybe we raised them too high. And so they cut. And they cut drastically. Something very important to point out here. Notice these shaded gray areas. When the Fed cuts drastically, that is when we go into a recession. That is when bad things start to happen in the investments. Because usually when they're making a cut here, it's because something really bad has happened. Like over here, some of these cuts from like 3% all the way down to 2%, and then all the way down to 1%. Reason for that here is that was 9/11. What they were cutting for there. And then over here, we remember this 2007 cut. That what's happening right here was the subprime mortgage crisis, the great financial crisis. So 2008 followed, and that was sheer destruction in investments and everything. And right here, about March 2009, that would have been the best time to buy stocks. Then take a look at another one right here. In 2020, remember there was a little event that some of y'all probably lived through because y'all are young enough to remember this. Remember there was a little event that went on called the pandemic? That happened. That was when they, for the first time in a long time, went to 0% interest rates. That's where ZERP came from. I mean, they had it back over here in post 2008. They went right back down to it in 2020. We had a recession. So basically, what's happening is like the Fed is late when they decide to cut. Always late. But when they realize they're late, they do cut drastically. Now, let's take a look at where we're at right here. I mean, as they were starting to raise the rates, this was when The crypto market, the stock market receded. 2022 was a horrible year. It was a recession, even though they just don't want to call it a recession. It was a recession. 2022, we have a horrible year. They keep raising the rates till they peak out here September 2023. Then they start flirting with cuts. We had 3 of them last year. And the last time that they cut was in December of last year. And that gave us a very rough start to this year here, actually. Remember, like the same day that the interest rates were cut, our investments went down. Crypto went down, the stock market went down the last time interest rates were cut. Maybe that was the start of a little mini recession like we had over here in 2020. And maybe all the bad is out of the way. Now, they didn't really cut drastically, and I'll tell you exactly why. The reason Powell is refusing to cut is because of this stupid mistake he made right here. September 2019, the rates were at 2%. There was zero reason to cut the rates there. Zero reason. I don't know why he did it, and I can tell you he definitely regrets doing it, and that's why he's so slow to cut rates now. Because when he cut them back in 2019, he handicapped the Fed's ability to save the economy in 2020. Because before the rate cut to zero in 2020, we were just at 1.5%. So he can only go down. He's going to bring the rates down 1.5%. If they were still up here at 2.5%, it would have had a much more dramatic, positive recovery effect had he cut from there. So he made an incredibly stupid mistake, and he's going to be looked at not too kindly from history if he makes that stupid mistake again. He's going to be like the laughingstock of Fed chairs for this complete idiot mistake that he made back in 2019, cutting when there was zero reason to cut. Because had he not cut and waited until the crash of 2020, the COVID, the pandemic and everything happened, the whole pandemic, all that crash and everything would have been just this tiny little blip on the chart. I mean, you wouldn't even be able to see it. You could see it a little bit here. It's very small, but it'd be so small, you would not be able to see it at all. You would not be able to see it at all. Had he not cut in 2019, we were at 2.5%, and then we go all the way down to zero when the pandemic happens. Now, here's what I'm thinking is happening here. You take a look at this trend that we're at right here. We raised, then we stopped, and then we cut. Where have we seen that before? We saw that before right here, 1995 to 1998, or really, if I'm being honest, all the way up till 2000. And that was the biggest stock market rally that we had ever experienced in that century. And why is my highlighting that? That was the only risk-on asset at the time that you could, the only risk-on asset you could buy back then. And that's where people were putting their money that they wanted to allocate to growth. Now they have another option, and that's crypto. Yeah. People put their money into stocks. That helps crypto because there's lots of crypto companies in the stock market. Coinbase is publicly traded. Circle is publicly traded. Ripple is going to be publicly traded. Justin Sun's thing is going to be publicly traded soon. Lots of other crypto mining companies out there that are publicly traded. You got Bitcoin ETFs. You got Ethereum ETFs. We got a lot more ETFs coming in. So we got nothing to worry about, you guys. We haven't missed out on the damn thing. The bull market has not ended because it's never even started. And if the Fed is repeating what they did back in 1995, 1996, and continues doing like it did, risk-on assets are going to skyrocket. They're going to pump real hard. You want to make sure that Hex and PulseChain are going to be the greatest beneficiaries of all this action. You do exactly what I said in the last stream. Put a daily DCA in at Coinbase or Kraken or Gemini or whatever exchange you use. Buy some USDC. I like using Coinbase because we see Coinbase, when you buy any coins on there, you can immediately get them off the exchange. And that's what I like. I want to be able to put my money there, but then immediately get my money off and go into my Trezor or some other self-custody wallet. DCA Wait till a red day like today, and I mean when the whole market is red, and then plow all of that accumulated money into Hex and PulseChain and all of the core coins of the ecosystem. And all of a sudden, we're the only thing that is being talked about positively on an otherwise ugly red day for all of the crypto market. That gets the attention of the mainstream crypto media. You want Wendy O to start talking about us positively? That's going to get her attention. She checks the crypto bubbles every day. If we're the biggest bubbles on there, she's going to mention it. You want to see Rand Nooner have to finally address that Hex and PulseChain and PulseX are assets worth talking about, not just bubbles that he should pop and go, oh, I don't want that. That's how you do it. Are you tired of Ivan on Tech constantly talking trash where he goes, PulseChains, PulseChains, how you guys doing? Going down all the time. When we are the only thing that is green on an otherwise red day, finally, we will get the respect that we deserve. You guys are capable of making the God candles all on your own. You don't need Richard to come in and pump your bags. And for God's sakes, we don't need marketing. I'm proven right here on this. So I don't want to hear a damn thing about postcards ever again. I don't want to hear a damn thing about marketing ever again. And you know what? At the PulseX conference that RH Max is doing, I'm going to be on that marketing panel. And if anybody wants to debate me on, oh, yeah, we really need marketing, come debate me. I'm happy to have that conversation with you. And I'm going to be respectful to you. I'm not going to insult you or anything like I do with some of the other haters out there. I'll be respectful to you. But I will show you beyond the shadow of a doubt. No, we do not need marketing because the best marketing is green candles. And that is something that we can create for ourselves right now. You can send out a bunch of postcards and hope people don't throw them away. Or you can plow the money that you would have spent on postcards into these assets, pushing those prices up, creating those green candles. And then not even the mainstream crypto media can ignore it. Not even our haters can lie about it because those green candles are middle fingers right in their face. And it is a strap-on that goes straight up their asses. So the best revenge that you can do against all the haters here is to plow your money in, just like I had said, do those asymmetric purchases on red days and create those God candles yourselves. That's all I've got for today. Cairo out.